Hey everybody, it's the Coastal Crusader, and I'm taking a break from my Star Trek-a-thon sort of thing, in which I review a lot of the Star Trek movies. I'm going to be reviewing a brand new comedy that was just recently released in theaters, The Internship. I just saw it today, so this is almost like a first opinions review. I just got back from the theater, and I'm sitting here right now to review it. Okay, so one thing I have to say about this movie before I even get started is that I'm a huge nerd. I'm obviously very heavy into nerd culture. Why else would I have this channel and my other channel for Doctor Who? You obviously know that I'm very heavy into nerd culture, and this movie is filled with references. They really appreciate the culture that they're almost demographing to. So there's Star Wars references, there's Game of Thrones references, there's Harry Potter references, there's even references to a certain genre of pornographic material that should not be shown here. So I'm gonna get started. Basically the plot is that these two old-fashioned businessmen played by Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn, who basically play themselves, are basically very old-fashioned, they're salesmen. They're basically replaced by computers, and their company goes under because of all the new technology. So they realize, hey, we could get an internship at Google. So basically it's like this Hunger Games, like they said in the movie, for interns. And there's different teams of interns that go through different competitions in order to get the spot as like a job at Google. So Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson are put on this team with a bunch of like hipster kind of demographic, and they have to work together and find out. So obviously this is a very, very, very cliched movie. This is filled with every single comedy challenge cliche you could imagine. There's everything you could think of that makes like these type of movies that type of movie. But the thing is, it stands out from all those cliched comedies just because of the characters. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson play themselves, so I can't really give them much of a performance because they're always that performance. The nerds, Lyle played by Josh Burner, Stewart played by Dylan O'Brien, Neha played by Taya Sikar, and Yo-Yo Santos played by Tobit Raphael are all awesome, and everybody else that really works there is pretty awesome too. And those are the ones that make the characters and make this movie so different from what it could have been. And Will Ferrell was in it for about a minute. I'm a pretty big Will Ferrell fan, so that was pretty funny. It was a cameo, but not much to say there. It was a very cliched movie, but it still stood out from the bunch. I loved all the references. There's not much I could say about this movie other than it was a generic comedy that kind of stood out a little bit over the generic comedies. It wasn't like anything perfect or tremendous or my favorite comedy of all time, no. But it was a pretty good movie. And, there's not really much wrong with it, and that's pretty damn cliched. But, I guess I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It was very cliched. There's not much more I could say other than that. A little bit stood out because of the nerdy references and everything, but it was just his typical movie. So I would recommend seeing it if you're one of friends or family, but it's not worth much. So I guess that's my review. Thanks guys for watching.